What it do? How's my audio? Is my mic okay? Welcome to my office, by the way. Um, I'm getting some things loaded up. I can't see how many viewers I have. I wonder if I can refresh this. Already getting hearts in chat. That's crazy. All right, tell me how my audio is. I know my mic is not the greatest, but we'll get that fixed in upcoming streams. How's my lighting, by the way? RGB up in this. Up in this. I do play drums. Yes, these are drums behind me. They are real. Um, and they're very loud. Audio is great. It's perfect. Okay. So a couple things I want to do today. I first want to start with a tour of my map, just to kind of give you guys a look at what I'm play drums. I could play later. Um, but I want to give you guys a tour of the map, and then we'll get into map making. I've got kind of a list of items that I want to look at and kind of do today. So um, yeah, let's get. I'm gonna get this map loaded up, but thanks for everyone for being in here. Play the drums. Okay, who's got that chat name? That's going away. Oh, one sec. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the baseball practice. I can't work around that. That's my bad. Sorry, folks. But anyways. Okay. Let's see here. What's up, Mapper's Paradise? If that is the real Mapper's Paradise, um, thank you for being in my stream. What an honor. Also, honor goes out to Crooked Creek and MRG as well. Some fantastic monitors, or monitors. I'm pulling an MRG, I can't speak. Let's see here. Let's get some people some moderator status in here. Here's some people I trust. Cool. So I got some mods in chat if you guys can look at usernames and stuff like that, just to make sure that we are appropriate and things like that. So, okay, I'm gonna switch to my screen capture here. So this is the Des Moines River Valley. There's kind of some hints here to where this map is located. I'm not going to quite reveal it until later. Um, but if you guys can figure out where it's based on, kudos to you. High fives in chat. Okay. So we're just going to start with a brief little tour of the map. Here's an overview of the PDA here. It's a 4X map, and it is based in Iowa. So that's all the details that I'm going to give you. It's based, this little river flowing through here is the Des Moines River. Okay, that's all the hints you're going to get for it. Farm Bros, my day is going great so far. This is my first live stream on YouTube, first live stream in a long time, so a little nervous, you know. But so far doing so good. So far doing good. So yeah, as we're coming up here, we're going into the town right now. And you can see that we got the grain sell point. These bins, the steel bins here, are going to get changed out. Just because you can tell by that bottom of that loadout, you can see it's not really reflecting light very well. So it's like blacked out for some reason. Concrete elevators base game. But yeah, we'll come back to that. This map will have a train running through it. And so you'll have several railroad crossings. Kind of goes at an angle throughout the whole part of the map here. We'll come back to the sell point in a little bit here. Why no pull manure spreader around like a real map maker? That's a good point. Let's see here. Let's go to medium tractor here, and obviously we're gonna use Skywalkers. Get it set up to the 8410. Get some duals on here. New weights. Put a rock box on that. Get some fenders on the front. Get a little Starfire action here. Get the right Starfire. There we go. Exhaust is fine. Get the new flashers on there. No mid mount. No beacons. Put the bail. No, put the copy track in there. Additional work lights. No window tint. 5 remotes. 1000 with shield. Rear drawbar fully loaded. Condition new. All right. And then let's see what I have for manure spreaders. I wonder if I've got Smevy's new one. I do. I do. Yes, we're pulling that for sure. Okay. I have one of these IRL, just like this. So, I know the realism. I'm going to change up this. This automotive center here is my current vehicle place, or vehicle store. So I'm going to get that changed out, because see how like you spawn in the grass here? I don't love that. I'm your hero. That's great. Looking good, RowCrop. Appreciate it. Lanny. Lanny made it. Lanny from HR. Okay. Now we're pulling a manure spreader. You happy, MRG? Okay. Let's get back to the tour. We'll leave my green truck there. I'm going to turn it off, though. So I've got a couple things going on here in the town. Obviously, we got the vehicle store there. This is a buy point, so you can buy grain here. And then you got 2 sell points. And you can see that there's Pro Cooperative All and Pro Cooperative Beans. We'll explain that in a little bit, why there's a difference there. But if you need to, I gotta look at this. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Okay. But yeah, there's a buy point here, so you can buy most grains, most crops here. The reason I like to have a buy point in my maps is, sup cheesy, is I like to have it because like I don't always like to grow a root crop, or I don't like to produce as much corn, or like, you know, whatever. And I like to do pigs, and I've got pigs in this map, and so I want people to be able to just come buy their feed basically for their pigs. So it's at a discounted price, and like theoretically you can just like pull into this buy site and then go into the grain elevator right next door and sell it. That's stupid, you know? So don't do that. I can't control you, but like don't do that. But yeah, so there's a buy point, and then we've got our sell point here. I want to show off this sign first. Um, we'll use the tractor around the town, but as we go through the map, it is a 4X, so I'm going to switch to a truck. But I made this sign for a certain person in chat, and I decided to use it on my own map. 3D modeled this in Blender. It's got textures from Oxygen David. It's got some PBR in there. It's got obviously it's the custom logo here too. So, and then we've got Trailer Park Farms Scale House, which is amazing, by the way. Um, you know, all the sounds work and everything like that. It's just such a nice scale house. And one thing I want to show you with this scale house, well, 2 things. There's actually a scale ticket on the screen, which is nuts. And then you come over to this fridge. This fridge has animations, and there's beer in there. That's epic. Okay, so we'll get back in the tractor, and then obviously it is a weighing station. So when you pull onto the scale, if I can drive, you can see how much you weigh. And I think this is in kilograms, unfortunately. So unless you can do the conversion in your head, good luck. Okay. So as far as the town goes, I've started just throwing houses in there. Haven't really done a lot of terrain editing or anything like that. But I've got a few OK used mods items in here. OK used mods, old Glenn over there on Facebook makes some amazing assets. First and foremost, the automotive center. Love that. Got that baked into the map. And then his church and his post office. Post office is really nice. It really matches um, what's going on in the town of oh, I almost doxed the town, by the way. Um, but in this town in real life, that post office is like to a T. It's perfect. And then his church is nice, you know. And if you switch to nighttime, the lights come on. It's just it. He does really good stuff. Good dude. And then I've got the base game gas station in there as well. So yeah, Glenn is a good dude. Okay, since this is my first stream, I'm gonna check on my stream health real quick. Make sure everything's running as it should. Oh my god, we've got 18 people in here. Hello everybody. This is insane. I used to stream on Twitch. I used to stream horror games, and I'd have like one viewer, and I'm pretty sure it was a bot. So, thanks everyone for your shares and for coming in here, and even the likes on the stream too. I greatly appreciate that, and all the new subs and everything. So, I do plan to stream a little bit more often, but anyways, so yeah, you can see like things are still screwy. The classic mailboxes issue. Um, and like terrain around some of these houses is not perfect. So let's go back to the truck and kind of get around to the rest of the map. I have roads in, obviously. These are all 3D modeled in Blender. Took me a little time. I can open up that blend file and kind of show you guys around that too. It's pretty cool. It's really cool to see the terrain because I export my terrain from Giants Editor into Blender to make my roads, and the terrain mesh looks so beautiful. All right. So I think what we're going to do here is take a right down P19 here on this first road. And you may be thinking, RowCrop, why is it called P19? Oh boy, do I have something to show you. As we get past the speed limit sign, a common landmark throughout Iowa roads is the county blacktop signs. I've got one made. So, with this in mind, the Des Moines River Valley, we're in Iowa. We're on P19. Um, where are we? Anyone in chat figure out where we are? Love the signs. I love them too. Wait till you see my road signs, by the way. Okay, so as we're going up here, we're going past the gravel pit. This is an old gravel pit that's been flooded by the river, and there's some hay fields that surround it, which I think those are going to be really fun. They're pretty big hay fields, so it's going to take a little bit of time, but it should be pretty fun to do this because I love the little terrain deformation right down in there. Like you can see the water plane and everything. That's really cool. So as we come up here, there's going to be 2 hog farms. I'm using assets from a couple different modders to get these hog farms put together. The first one that we'll go to is the furthest north on the map. And we'll see that one first. You can kind of see that one over there. You can guess who made that hog confinement. It's probably like the first and best hog confinement to come to FS22. But this one up here to the north is a more recent hog confinement, and it's on the official mod hub. I bet you're in Humboldt County. No way, how'd you guess? Farm Bros, I don't know. I'm debating whether or not you can say where it's at. I don't think it's an issue, but yeah, Humboldt County. Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. So anyways, here's the first hog farm. I got this one in kind of early into the map making process, just because I wanted to retest my skills on placeables and things like that. I wanted to get that going. So I used the official mod hub mod from Schultz Modding. And this is a really nice hog confinement. I have to buy the land for me to get this working, so let me add some money here. And then spend $100 million. You know, the county seat of Humboldt County is not Humboldt. Yeah, it's, yeah, where is it? Okay, Mapper's Paradise, will do. Thank you for stopping in. I don't know if that means you're leaving or not, but appreciate it. Sup, Sick Bert? Welcome in. Um, I think I've caught everyone, said hi to everyone. Don't think I've said hi to you yet, Locke, but welcome in. Thanks for chatting. As you can see, once I bought the farmland, then my info triggers came up. So this does have a bought with farmland tagline in the XML. But yeah, you can go in here. I really like this one. The doors are a little small. It's Dakota City. Well, Dakota City is actually right up in there with Humboldt. It's literally right next to it. They share borders. Um, but you can come in here and like if I open up my F1 menu, you can see that you can like hide the grid in there, and then you can turn on the fans too. Like I said, the doors are a little small, so you can get stuck in here. But you've got this is the grid that you can turn off. You can turn off these gates and fences and stuff like that. But this is just a really beautiful model. I think he did a great job on it, especially for a mod hub mod to have an American mod like this. It's super good. Has a good barbecue place. I'll have to check that out. I get to there quite often with my job, so I will check it out. What's up, No? I think I've seen you in SimStation's streams before. Another cool thing about this one is I've got a little lane going back. I'll close my F1 menu. Oops, that's the F2 menu. There we go. Um, is it has a little lane back here to get back to the feed bins and to the slurry loadout. I don't know. This is just a really great hog confinement. Good, like medium-sized, medium farm hog confinement. I love that. You can see the fans are running there. So yeah, that's hog farm number one. And then we'll come down over here. You can see this is still a work in progress map. So obviously, like things like that, where my road's floating, there's going to be errors, and like my terrain on my roads is not polished yet. So expect that to be finished upon release, obviously. Um, and when we get there, I'm kind of debating doing a public beta. I don't have a Patreon or anything, and so I've got a core group of people that I'll send this out to for like alpha testing. But I think my beta will be public just to get it out there, especially since it will be my first public release. But yeah, we've got some roadsides put in. Oh, about to hit one. Um, you know, just adds a little nice detail to the map, nice touches. You know, check out my stream once more as we're driving down the road. Don't text and drive like I'm doing right now. 23 viewers. That is absolutely insane to me. Um, it is a 4x. That is correct, Lanny. This is a 4x map. So 4 kilometers by 4 kilometers, not the standard size. This is Western Iowa Modding's hog confinement. He released this, or they released this quite a while ago. Another great hog confinement, even better than the Schultz modding one that we just touched on. The only thing that I've changed on it is the slurry pit location, because in real life, this slurry pit is kind of an annex to the hog confinement. But this one, you can open the curtains, you can turn on the fans. The fans have a really nice sound to them. And then for this cattle or hog confinement area, this lot, this would be a great opportunity to use Lazy E Modding's bulk feed trailer, in my opinion, just because it's such tight quarters through here. And you can see on my PDA, it's like that. Oh, we gotta save. But it's like that in real life. It's really, there's not a lot of room to maneuver. Turn off this hotspot. But there's not a lot of room to maneuver. You can see it's just a small little gravel pad for this big of a hog confinement. So trying to get a feed trailer in here is going to be a little bit tough. You know what I'm saying? Got some propane tanks in there too. Debating on making those fillable, um, having propane built into the map. If you have any thoughts on that, let me know. Oh, I didn't see that message there. Big ball and grain Holland. I love that. Is this 4X? Yes, it is a 4X. Landy from HR got me covered there. How's the stream quality, by the way, in terms of frame rate and stuff like that? What's up, Pleasant View? Doxing my first name. What the hell? Um, Yeah, so as we get through here, you can see I've got some hay fields coming up on the left and in front of us here. And one thing that I've been working on with a fellow modder is setting up CRP ground. And if you're not familiar with what CRP is, it's the crop reservation program or something like that. I think that's what it is. It's also sometimes called CREP, the Crop Reservation Enhancement Program, and basically what it does is it just reclaims tillable acres into like prairie ground to restore the roots and restore the wetlands and restore basically everything that the agriculture has taken out of that soil. So some of these fields, like particularly these ones just right up in the corner here, are going to be I see a Farm Bros, but these are going to be CRP ground. So I'll have some placeables that like and fences and stuff that will keep you from entering it if you don't buy the land, and you will make money off that land. So what do you got, No? Currently farming on Big Flats, Texas, preparing field with the John Deere 8400R with the John Deere 28 or 2680 high performance disc. 14 mile an hour through a field, man. He'd be going like this, going through the field. Yeah, 14 mile an hour is no joke, especially when you're disking up some ground. That's a good setup, though. I appreciate the John Deere. As you can tell by my little logo down the screen, I've got the 8000 series John Deere, part of my logo. Really like how the trees and the foliage turned out on this map. Use the foliage script and the tree placement script. I think both either by LS Mod Company or by Farmer Boys Modding. They make some excellent scripts for Giants Editor for map making. So if you're looking to get into map making, feel free to find me on Discord or on Facebook, and I can put you down some good avenues. This whole map wouldn't exist if it weren't for MRG's map making course. I took that map making or started taking that map making course about a year ago, and I did get a map to completion. I noticed some critical errors that were just noob errors, so I never released it. But that got me to the point where I am now, and as you can see, I'm connected with a lot of the people that are in this chat that have been amazing resources for me, and it's kind of a I help them, they help me type deal. So, Pleasant View, how you doing, good sir? I am doing fantastic. Um, I can't believe how many people shared my stream and got me in here, um, and are in this chat right now. Like, this is amazing. For my first stream, this is great. So thank you to everybody. And Noah says, you come from Alsace, France, and love U.S. equipment, old and new. That's great. It's fun to do the vice versa. To be like I'm an American farmer, so I love um, getting into playing some, specifically UK farming. Like Court Farms by Oxygen David is just nutso. The immersion on that map is incredible. But as we get up into here, you've probably kind of seen some things off in the distance there. But in real life, there's a bridge out up here. You can see that right in the center there. The bridge is out. So I kind of took that as an opportunity to go a little crazy nutso with the construction items going on here. So as we come up here, let's get some faster movement speed going here. I think this is super cool. I've never seen this done before. Active construction on a part of a farm sim map. Granted, it's all static objects, so it's not really um, doing much for the game. But I did add it so that the crane and that concrete block held up by the crane only show up during the summer. Now, it won't work if I just go into easy dev and move the time forward. It won't work. But like if you progress through the game, um, you will eventually have the crane disappear. So crazy nuts. I know I said that. Leave me alone. Log that is very Iowa for sure. Yeah, I'm really trying to go for like when I make something, pretty much any time I make something, I put it into game and I look at it to make sure that it reflects Iowa as much as possible. Um, Next thing to tackle is Substance Painter. Good luck. Um, Make me some speculars, if you will. Okay, so let's go down this angle road here a little bit, and then we're gonna cross our main bridge. There was technically 3 bridge points on this map to cross the Des Moines River. The one that the bridge is out, that's the northmost. There's a railroad bridge in the middle, and then there is the main river crossing. So we're going to go to the main river crossing next. Texting and driving yet again. I don't have power lines in every spot of the map quite yet, mainly on this eastern half. I've got the main power line grids in for the county roads and for the town, but the as we get further along in here into this map, you'll see some more unfinished aspects of it. Again, this is a work in progress. Next thing to tackle is getting my map finished. Good luck. Yeah, finishing a map. I think my first map that I did took me like, oh, 5 months, and that's when I was bad at doing this. So Sport, this map is looking killer, I must say. Greatly appreciated. I'm loving the look of it too. This is definitely like my best terrain, trees, roads, things like that. Like the visuals on this map are, in my opinion, my best. Um, no says, in reality, I'm an agricultural employee in Alsace. We have a large tractor, John Deere with 290 horsepower, original and now boosted to 390. Oh my god. And the US version is 7R on the farm I work for, a childhood friend. That's awesome. So you're a John Deere stan just like myself. Um, I wonder if we should go down here first. No, let's do that later because I don't want to take a farm truck down there. But little deer down in my trees. So yeah, there's a lot of spots where like the river is flooded um, that I have water planes filled in at. Um, and they've got like reeds, seasonal bushes, and stuff like that, cattails, um, kind of baked into the map. So trying to add to that lush foliage feel that a lot of these like Iowa water plate areas have. These low-lying areas have that. So here's our first and our main bridge crossing here. And this is where you can see the full width of the Des Moines River. There's still some detailing on the riverbanks that I want to do, but this river runs the full length of the map, so that's going to take forever. So some of these seasonal textures I did take from other maps, so I need to get some credits out to those mappers for putting those together, but yeah. And then like here, this is kind of a wide open area. This is going to have some cool. Can I add some random pheasants in the ditches? I don't know if I can. I mean, there's crows built into the game that fly in like in your fields and stuff, but I've never tried editing like the base game deer or the base game birds. I thought it'd be really cool to edit the base game deer to make them look like a whitetail, but yeah. So, anyways, this flat area on either side is going to be just like wetlands. It's not really tillable acres and stuff like that. So, how far is the map done? Ooh, that's tough to say. Um, I've got I'm still working on a lot of the visual aspects of it, and I haven't even started. Like I've placed in a few hog confinements and stuff, but I haven't really started building the playable farms that players were going to be using. So I would say roughly 15 to 20% done. So it's still going to be a ways out. I'm hoping to get it out before the next iteration of the game comes out. But this will probably be like one of the last few maps to come out for the game, if that would be my opinion. So Um, I love this curve, by the way. You know, these curve arrow signs are really cool. Nice little intersection in there. What we're going to do is we're going to go up to this furthest away hog confinement, and then we're going to come back to the state park, and then we'll get into some map making here. So right now I've got the Kinsey planters in Blender. Going to need a good planter for this map. 8 row should be big enough. Ooh, I don't know about that, Pleasant. I don't know about that. I think 16 row is going to be your minimum. Um, Play only US and Australia maps, PC and console and Alma, Big Flats, Texas, and Stone Valley. All three of those are really good maps. I haven't played on Big Flats, but Alma, Missouri is a masterpiece, and Stone Valley is, at least in FS19, that was like my favorite map. Stone Valley is. I don't like the FS22 version as much. Jay Graham says, bussin', welcome in, Jay Graham, and appreciate saying what the kids say, a busting. Okay, so there's gonna be like a farm down this road. I don't know if it'll be a playable farm, but let's go to this hog confinement that's down here, because this is a double hog confinement. If you're wondering about the terrain on this map, this is a 1 meter DEM. MRG explained what the 1 meter stands for, like they go 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. But I, I think that's how it works. I'm not quite sure, but that like 1 meter is the finest detail that we have for terrain data. So you can see like where those low-lying areas, that's a waterway in real life, and it follows that. I didn't have to do any sculpting to get that to work. So some big fields, says Lanny. Abso-freaking-lutely. Some of these are close to 240 acres. I'm gonna have to reduce those sizes a lot. So here's the second, or I should say the third hog farm. This one's a double, like I said. If we come down here on the PDA, you can see it's a double in real life. I've took some liberties on like the gravel in here to make it a little bit more playable in the sense that you can drive a truck through here. But same sheds by Western Iowa Modding. Um, and all I've added to them is the propane tanks. I've painted the ground, and there's with the way this mod comes is there's just this floating trigger for loading out your slurry. I just added this like little pump. I don't think I'm gonna keep it just because it's obviously that's not American. I might add the Huel pumps or Hewley. I don't know how you say it, but so yeah, those are really the main farms that I've got in now. Um, and so like the map really isn't even in a playable state yet because as you can see, I don't have any crops growing in my fields because I don't have field dimensions in. And so I'm going to work on getting field dimensions in today. I don't know if I'll do it on stream because that's a lot of work in GIMP for me to get going. GIMP is the photo processing tool that I use and that most map makers should use. So yeah. Oh, one cool thing about this map, let me fly up. I've got a seamless border around this map, so you can see how those fields just continue on. Doesn't that look sharp? Yeah, and then you can see here just how like the scale of some of these fields like that in real life probably like with the waterway running through it, that's all one field. That's probably 180 acres real life. It's just about a quarter section, so maybe 200 acres. So it's huge, huge field. I think I'm gonna cut them down a little bit. Thanks, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, the border is really cool. Super simple to do in Blender. Um, Getting it to match up perfectly with the edges of the terrain is pretty simple too. You just kind of snap some vertices in Blender and it works, you know. There's some spots where the terrain that's extreme right there, so that needs to change. Do the fields on the border change with the seasons? As of now, no, they do not. That's just a static Google Earth snapshot, basically, of um, the area. So um, I don't know how to make the border seasonal. I've seen Antler do it. I think it was Antler 22 that did it. I don't know how they did it. So maybe something I can figure out. I don't know. What side of Humboldt is the map based on? Well, it's Humboldt County, so it's not Humboldt. Um, if you go northwest of Humboldt, you can maybe find it. It's along the Des Moines River Valley. So we got our rail crossing here, and then our fourth bridge in the map. This one's just on a gravel road. It's just a short bridge. Not much going on there. But again, I'll get a waterway running through here, a little creek. I think it's called Pilot Creek in real life. It's not too hard. I'm working on a seasonal border now. Okay, well, cheesy. DM me. Let's chat. So, the further north we get into the map, there's a couple more farms up here. So, like, um, some of these farms that I'm really excited to do is like this one is called Pilot Creek Bison. I think in real life it's a bison farm. So obviously it's gonna be cattle and game because they're not bison. But I thought that was cool. And then like up here, this one right here in the center of the view right now is like horses and ponies and donkeys. So that will be cool. I think I'll make it a cattle farm because I have another idea for a horse farm on the map. And then there's a pasture up here and a pasture farm up here as well. So there's gonna be some cool farms going in there as well. We'll get back on our paved roads here, um, and then we're gonna check out the state park next because that I've shared pictures of the state park on my Facebook page, and a lot of people seem to really enjoy that. So I think seeing it in person on stream would be pretty cool to look at. Bit of a long ways to get down there, but that's all right. Again, this is a 4x map, so getting around the map takes some time. You know, um, you really gotta earn it, and that's why the fields are so big. I mean, and see, like, look at how that hay field's going up on the hill. I don't like that. I'm gonna change that. You know, so. Well, some of the cattle farms have barns like MRG does on his. For sure, for sure, they will. What do you mean by like some of the barns like MRG has? Because like, um, it will have. It's not gonna have dairies. So I see you said also dairies. This part of Iowa and really a lot of Iowa doesn't have a lot of dairy in it. It's mainly beef cattle. Let's get around this curve. I need to edit this curve a little bit. I might do that on stream. Just do a little edge flow on there. But yeah, yeah. Really, what do you mean by some of the cattle farms barns? Because um, I could pull assets directly, but they gotta fit with the map. I guess there's 5 bridges on this map. I forget how many bridges I have on this map. But now we're coming up on the state park. And I'm really stoked about the state park. I think it looks really good. And this is all base game assets. So if we get in here, um, one sec, I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna change this music. It's a little theatrical for me. Let's maybe go to some DMCA free lo-fi. And it's probably gonna play an ad. Yeah, I'll mute that for a second. Skip this ad, get the lo-fi going. Hopefully that's not too loud. Let me know if the music's too loud, by the way. It's just gonna be some lo-fi beats, so nothing too intense. But I'll change the lighting here real quick. Change the time of day to like maybe afternoon. Yeah. So again, this is all base game assets from Elm Creek, the US map, and I think they looked amazing. And the texture pathing is light for the map size and stuff like that. So you come in here and like you've got obviously your shelter house that everyone could like rent out and have parties at. And then um, when I was putting this together, I noticed that this little shed had this sign that says "Campers, please self-register." I'm like, I got to make a campground now. So I made a campground. So let's go down to the campground. So the campground is tents only, but like um, I have these tents placed in there in some quote unquote strategic spots, but um, these are also seasonal. These tents are seasonal. So like if you I'll pull my game back up. Sorry, my bad. Thank you. Oops. Noob streamer. I need to stream the game. Okay. My bad, folks. Noob streamer moment. So let's go back to the state park. These are all base game assets, like I was saying. But like I can go in here and edit this. I'm taking suggestions for the name of the state park. So if you want to name this state park something vulgar, let me know. I've got a few ideas. But anyways, going back to the shelter house, this would be the shelter house that we would be, renting out and stuff like that. And then, like I said here, this little shack has this camper self-register thing. So I was like, okay, I gotta make a campground. What's up, Waylon? I think I've seen you in SimStation stream too. Welcome in. But yeah, anyways, these tents here are seasonal. And if I fly up, you can see there's like a bunch of different little camping pads that you could like back a camper into. So if people wanted to role play and have campers, because there's some camper mods, you could do that. But these tents are seasonal, so that like in the summer, in the spring, the fall, yada yada, um, tents will show up in different spots. So it's kind of like the campground is alive in a sense. So that's really cool. Um, Really excited about this. I'm a big time camper in real life, so having a campground in my map, having the opportunity to have a campground on my map was like a no-brainer for me. So, what's up, Bar None Classics? Pickaxe Simulator Gaming. I've seen you around before. Welcome in. So yeah, we've got some big hills in this, and I think Lanny's gonna chop my head off if I don't show Horsepower Hill. So I got to show Horsepower Hill first, and then we'll get into some map making. But we're almost done with the Tour de Des Moines River Valley. So right now, the working name for this map is DSMRV. If you're familiar with UMRV, the Upper Mississippi River Valley, another great Iowa map, um, another great 4X, very very fun map to play on. I love that map. Um, so I'm kind of making a play on that and calling it DSMRV, Des Moines River Valley. So Murder Without Horsepower Hill. I will show it. I will get the biggest tractor and the biggest implement that I can find and pull it up Horsepower Hill just to show you how brutal this hill is. These roads are a base game edit, like the texture is. I added the yellow lines, but these are all base game textures. Very simple road mesh. All right, take the left here, hang a Larry, and we'll get over to Horsepower Hill. And when I told you I'm gonna pull out like the biggest implement and the biggest tractor, I'm talking like quad track with like a big disc chisel or a big plow or something. I don't know. Locke, do I plan on mostly streaming here on YouTube or doing Twitch as well? I will do YouTube because it seems like a lot of farm sim streamers do YouTube. I know like my friends like Pleasant View and Simulation Station and MRG, they all stream on YouTube. It seems like a pretty friendly community to farm sim, and it seems like a lot of people go to YouTube for farm sim streams, and so I'll stay here on YouTube. Oh yeah, shit. Here's Horsepower Hill. You see what I mean? That is huge. So let's get store deliveries in here. Grab our big tractor. Let's see here. I'm a bit of a John Deere stan, so I could maybe go for the 8960. However, I did say quad track. I could go with the new Steigers, or I could go with one of the older ones. Let's go with this Steiger because this model is 9370 and greater, 9390, whatever. They actually made a model of this tractor called the RowCropSpecial. I couldn't believe it. I saw one in person for the first time the other day, and I was like, what makes it the RowCropSpecial? Well, you can see here on this tractor, it's got the articulation in the middle of the tractor, and that's what like they came standard as. When they made the RowCropSpecial version of this tractor, they made it so that this front axle turns as well. And so you have the skinny row crop tires on it, and this front axle turns. So like instead of pivoting at the center to where you don't have that kind of fine nuance with your steering, you could flip a switch basically and have your front axle turn for you, and so that you'd have that fine movement when you're going through rows for row crops. So I thought that was sick. They've got a cool RowCropSpecial logo and everything, and I was like, that's my name, dude. Okay, so let's keep these. I think they're Firestones. Put some front weights on there. Put a monitor in there. Why not? Put a quick hitch on for sure. Get some front extra lights. Keep the colors as is. And as always, get rid of that dang license plate. If you are a European farmer in my chat right now, we do not have license plates on tractors, by the way. I don't know why they did that when they made this game. Okay, so I'll buy this tractor. And then let's see what I have for plows. I don't think I have a huge one. I do have this, but I don't like to mix colors. So let's maybe do, how much horsepower does that mean? How much horsepower do I have to play with? I've got 625, okay, so I can use that wheel ridge. That is a big plow. All right, beautiful tractor. I think Casarius made these. These are on the mod hub. The wheel rich equipment is from North Dakota Modding and Mapping. I believe their mods are only available through their Facebook page, their play button on their Facebook page. So get this folded out, and then we will go to Horsepower Hill. Just checking on my stream health, looking down at my screen here for a little bit here. That's all I'm doing. So where you get your plows at, it varies. With some of the stuff that's been going on lately, I like to either go through itch.io, which is where I will be posting this map when it's done, itch.io. It's a great modder site. And then the official mod hub. And then finally, debatable on this one, because they've posted some leak mods here in the last few weeks, but King Mods is typically a good spot to go for getting mods. So, oh, and Facebook directly from the modders page on Facebook. So like I just said for this one comes from North Dakota Modding and Mapping on their Facebook page. So yeah. All right, Horsepower Hill we go. I'm gonna sink this plow into the ground, and we'll see if we can't make it up this valley here. So let's get over there, go on there. What's the point of having of the tractor having a joint? Is it for turning radius? Are you talking about like this tractor turning in the middle like this? Is that what you mean? Because I think that's just how they did four-wheel drive tractors, so that you wouldn't like shred your tires when you turn the front and rear axles. On Big Flats, Texas, I only have John Deere farm. You got your beast John Deere, the 8960, 7720, and 7930. Very nice. Again, a John Deere fan. I appreciate it. Okay, let's sink this planter into the ground and see if we can't make it up Horsepower Hill. Yeah, this tractor is wobbly, especially, oh my gosh, I can't even get through the field itself. Especially because I'm playing on keyboard and mouse, but. So here's Horsepower Hill, folks. now we're going up. Let's see. We're going 9 miles an hour down the hill. Oh, the plow's freaking out. Oh, we're slipping. Tires are slipping. Oh, can we do it? Can we do it? I don't think we can do it. Look at that slip. That slippage going on. So yeah, Horsepower Hill is gonna change before this map gets released, because this is a 690 horsepower Steiger that we're driving up the hill. Okay, as we get in here, the violence, but also a good reminder. Please like the stream. I do plan to stream more, so if you feel like, if you're so inclined, feel free to subscribe. It helps me out a ton, gives me motivation. I do it for the fame and glory, so I need that. I need that edification for my ego. Yeah, struggle bus for real. That is Horsepower Hill, folks. I think it does give me an opportunity to show off the plow textures that I have in here. See how they're like lifted up off the ground? How they're 3D? Isn't that amazing? These are prefab on the official mod hub from JMZ. I don't know what you're talking about. Look fine to me. Buddy, we need to chat. Yeah, Horsepower Hill. I mean, look at that ravine, dude. I could pull up this map on Google Maps, and like, if you look at the field in real life, like it's washed out. And I should have followed that washout when I was making these fields, but I didn't. So, damn. Anyways, all right, let's do a quick flyover. There'll be a little farm there. That's the map, folks. That is the Des Moines River Valley. I'm really excited about this one. I don't know why I picked the location that I did. I think it's because it had a river and a rail line running through it. But the further I got into it, the more I was like really sinking my teeth into this map, and finding that like some of the new methods that I've learned and some of the assets that I've been able to find throughout the last year or so that other modders have created really just make this map pop. I mean, look at some of that terrain off in the distance. Let's fly over there real quick. Get my movement speed up a little bit. But like the wetlands areas are super cool, and like this spot right here is one of my favorite spots. Like how the trees conform to the hill and everything. That is just sick. So yeah, no cap, best floodwaters. I think these are sick, and that's all just a blender water plane, man, and a DEM playing together. So you take the really good DEM, the really accurate DEM terrain data, and then you make a custom water plane to match it, and you don't have to do any terrain sculpting. The water just does its thing, and it just looks amazing. So, like over here where it's all flooded in, like that is just chef's kiss, right? Okay. All right. Is there anything else I wanted to show you? Oh, yes, there is. I wanted to show you the canoe area. I'm really excited about this because, again, I'm a big outdoorsman. Let's get like a little Kubota. Take off that dang old license plate. Put the grill on there. There we go. That looks good. Flip through all my items. Ooh, wee, wee. That's more Italian to do this, not French. Make Horsepower Hill a cow pasture. Maybe. That would be sick. Can you imagine the nav mesh on that? Like the cows walking on the hill? That would be amazing. Alright, last thing I'll show is this little canoe area. And hopefully you guys can hear the game, because I've got some custom sounds in this forest that should play. Turn off flight mode here. Open up this sweet forestry gate from Landbauer. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I want to show you this animation right here. pin goes in and a lock goes on it. That is so sick. Yeah. Oh, I'm so fast. Okay. So I've got this little lane running down in here through the trees, cuts back in through here, chasing the deer. You hear that? I'm gonna turn my music off 1 sec. Do you hear that? Yeah. Forest sounds, chainsaws, birds, that kind of thing. So as you drive through here, you'll sometimes encounter those sound loops to kind of add to the immersion of it all. Okay, let's get back to the river here. The 8400R with a fast disc in hilly areas, it can do more. I should have tried a different tractor and a different disc. I mean, the fact that I was using a plow made that horsepower hill even worse than it already is. But so yeah, here's like a little area, like a little DNR access area that you would get in to like drop your canoe in. So I got a little couple little dinghies here. So someone's left their boats here. But this is a spot where you can get down and access the river. And you can kind of hear very faintly. Probably can't even hear it through the stream, but there's a water noise. It's like flowing water. I don't have a flow map on this river yet, so you can't see like the water flowing in the direction of the river would be going, flowing south, but at least the water plane's in, so we'll leave it at that. Little weather station. Come down here, you can see the bridge. Yeah, that's just great, man. I mean, in terms of visuals and like early map visuals, I am super stoked about this map. So, all right, I think that was it for my farm tour that I wanted to cover. Let's quit out of Farm Sim here. FN Alt F4. Oh, no, I don't want to quit OBS. Oh, that was almost bad. I almost quit OBS. I want to quit Farm Stream. Farm Sim. Farm Stream. You want to canoe that sometime IRL? Let's chat because I do want to canoe it. I've got a double-seater canoe and I've also got a solo canoe. And I go down rivers fairly often. I mean, I try to stick to lakes because rivers, you run into log jams and stuff like that, and it you have to carry your boat around, and my boats are heavy, so I don't know if I want to do that, but yeah, maybe I would love to go down the Des Moines River, especially if there's campsites along the river. I like to do multi-day canoe trips. So okay, um, let's see what I want to do here. I've got a list of tasks. I want to make um, I want to do field dimensions so that crops grow in my field. Um, stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to. What song is that from? Or what saying is that from? I don't know. I think that's from a song. Maybe I'm thinking "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls." It's not from that, but that's what I'm thinking of. But I think I want to get field dimensions in so that crops will grow, and then I can maybe work on farmlands too, like what purchasable farmlands you have. Um, and then what else did I write down? Oh yeah, I talked about I wanted to change the width of these roads. You see how wide that gravel is off the pavement there? It's pretty wide. So, I was right. It was Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls. Okay. Um, so yeah, I want to do that. And then what else did I write down? Oh, and we could also start in on the first farm. So the first farm is actually going to go right here. I showed you guys that early on in the tour. Um, and you can kind of see based on like the shape of this field right here that the fencing for this pasture goes right up to the river's edge. So like this is good. This is one of the main reasons I made this map or decided to make this map is the this farm right here. Because I have never seen a cattle pasture go right up to the river to like where the cattle can just drink out of the river. I think that would be sick. So I don't know, kind of up to you guys. What do you want to see? Do you want to see me work in a photo processing software? Do you want to see me stay in Giants Editor and work on roads and on a farm? I mean, totally up to you. I've got options. None of this needs to be done. Another thing I can do too is we can go over to the town here, and some of these houses are like floating or they're digging into the terrain, and they've got grass. They don't have um, driveways or anything like that, so we could work on that too. But there's one near Burt. I know where Burt is. Um, Tiny town, tiny, tiny Burt, Iowa. Not much around there, but you can canoe next to the cows at the river's edge. Buffalo Creek, which runs by Burt, has a lot of pastures that the creek runs through those pastures, and like I went tubing down them where you take an old tractor tire and just sit in the tractor tire and float down the river. Um, I've tubed down those rivers, and like you get right next to the cattle and they just kind of stare at you as you go down. It's wild. Okay, so yeah, yeah. If you guys got any suggestions on what you want to see, I mean, there's so much for me to work on right now. It was kind of tough for me to pick what I wanted to do, but one sec. Simulation Station, the deep voice debutante is in chat, folks. We gotta watch out. We are in the presence of greatness. Biggest tractor on the farm is the 9RX 640. I kind of want to pull up. Let's get my music going again. Um, a 9RX 640. What does that look like? Holy God. Let's open this in a new tab so I can show you guys this. This is insane. Look at that tractor. Is that on your farm sim farm or is that in your France farm? No, because that is crazy. 691 horsepower. I wonder if that's at the PTO or what. That's crazy. 691 horsepower. Okay. Um, I think I'm gonna wait on the roads because the script that I use, this spline paint panel, depending on the length of the spline that you run and how many control points you have, the longer it takes that script to run. And like if I go and open up some of these road splines, like for my main roads, you can see like just how many control points there are, all those little red dots, and just how long this spline is. That's like a half mile to a mile long spline, real life. So I think I'm gonna wait on the roads because that's gonna take forever for that to process, and that'd be kind of boring to watch. Um, One thing I could do is let me pull up my PDA here. Oops, not the water plane. I'll pull up the PDA and show you guys this. This is the farm I'm talking about. Maybe starting in on today. Um, you can see here we got a nice selection of outbuildings. Right up here is a shop. Right down here is it's like a shop slash cold storage. And then in the middle here is an old barn that I think has been converted to storage. There's some rusty old sheds down here that are for storage. And then here you can see the actual cattle lot. OMG, it's a cow. Where's the cow? Is there a cow somewhere on this PDA? Am I not seeing it? But yeah, anyways, this is so you can see the fence line that runs next to that field that I was just showing you. This goes right up to the water. Like that is sick. Um, and then across the road, you heard the word barn. Oh yeah, no, this right here is the old barn. Um, there's a farm across the way that's again got some cold storage. It's got a little shop. And what I think I'm gonna do is make it, because like if I pull this PDA up even more, so that's fully visible. Um, there's a couple spots on this map where there's bin sites. This is a very common thing in Iowa to have out in the middle of nowhere a bin site, a pack of bins waiting to be filled or holding grain. So there's one there, and then there's also one up here, and then there's a farm over there that's got a bin site. So Um, yeah, so we got options here. Man, I don't know what to do. I think I'm gonna start it on this farm. I'm gonna start with painting the ground textures, the gravel, and then we'll look at adding some buildings, maybe pulling from some different great maps that other modders have created. What's up, Doll? Doll Family Farms. Good to see you. I've seen you around in SimStation's Discord. Um, and then No says he's got that 9RX using a 26-meter plow. That's insane. That is insane. Okay, so yeah, let's do that. Let's drop this PDA down a little bit, just so it's barely above the ground. Right there. And then we're gonna go create spline, and we're gonna drop this down in here. Actually, I'm gonna raise up this PDA just a little bit. Yeah, Barn 1 Classics instead of Bar None. I think that's what you should have it as. Barn 1 Classics. That should be your new updated name. The level of detail where, Lanny? Alright, now we're going to create the spline. One thing with spline tools in Giants Editor that's pretty cool is there's a lot of little hotkeys that you can use that they don't really document the hotkeys for Giants Editor very much. So like if I hit R for reverse, you can see how my spline points flip-flop. So instead of rotating the spline, which is a bad idea to do because then your scripts won't work, is just hit R and that flip-flops your control points. And then if you want to hit W again, then you have your drags. And if you hit W again, then you get your rotates. Then I hit W, 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 W. Okay. So there's some tricks that you can use to make your splines work for you. So I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna grab this whole spline and move it over just back up here a little bit. Grab that start point. I'm gonna start placing vertices. So then I come through here with my start point and I hit insert, or I hit Control B first to grab that and that start point and drag it to where I want it to, and then I start hitting insert to start adding these control points. And really what I'm going to do, level of detail on this map, oh man, I appreciate you. Really what I'm going to do is just make an outline of this lot to kind of roughly get the gravel mapped out. Obviously, we're gonna have to come back in and like paint some grass back in and stuff like that, and we're gonna have to paint the animal mud and stuff like that too. But really, just want to get a very high level overview of where the gravel sits. I think that looks pretty good. It's a pretty good outline. So, like I said, yeah, we're gonna have to come back here and get the animal mud and the rough dirt and stuff like that. But this is a good start. Move this one to like right there. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is drop this down. And then another thing too is like if you use this really thick meadow texture, it's really hard to see painted textures through it. So like if I try to paint a texture down on the ground, it's really hard to see that. If I right click and then go to show and foliage, and then that takes it so that you're not showing the foliage on the map, then you can actually see the textures that you're painting. So we just get this back to grass here. Okay. All right, so that's where my gravel is going to go. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my spline, go to scripts, and then the spline paint panel. And you'll probably see here that in my scripts menu, I have a lot of scripts, different tools that I can use in my map making process. And a lot of these come from two places. Primarily, they come from farmerboysmodding.com, and then some of them come from LS Mod Company. I believe LS Mod Company is a German group of modders and scripters and stuff like that. And then Farmer Boys Modding is more American. So a lot of their scripts are going to be in English, and they're a little bit easier to follow the tutorials because those tutorials are all in English. But if you're looking for a good spot to get scripts, Farmer Boys Modding. So they made this. I think it's Wrinkly's Rule is the guy in the forums that made this one. Um, but this is like a super nice spline painting tool. So like for instance, if I want to paint gravel, I can select which texture I have. Let me show you the base game one first. If I go into terrain and paint terrain by spline, this is the base game Giants spline paint tool. I have to go in, I have to find the layer ID, and then I set my radius down here. There is no explanation as to like what a layer ID is or anything like that. And what a layer ID is if I go into my texture painting right here, these right here are layer IDs. The capital letter ones are combined layers, and then the lowercase ones are your layer IDs. So I'd have to count from 0 to whatever 40 is to find that texture. Whereas with this spline paint panel, it reads my textures and lays them all out for me. Super nice. Combined layers and single layers. So that's really cool. So I'm going to choose gravel. And then to the right of my spline, I want it to paint gravel grass. And I want my center width to be about 2. And then my edge width, I want my gravel grass, that edge texture, I want that to be about 1 meter. Then I hit paint. Oh no, I chose the wrong side. Bummer. So let's just set that to gravel, and then we'll set this one to gravel grass, and paint it again. There we go. So now my edges have that gravel grass texture on them. Oh, get back to chat here. There are 4 26-meter plows which turn in Australia and 1 26 which turns in America and California. Commonly ban them for the cultivation of peanuts. I like peanuts. 26 meters is like 70 feet. I think so, yeah. 70-foot plow is nuts. Crazy nutso pants. Oh, my light died. One sec. Turn my lamp on. Yeah, that's nuts. 70 meters. I mean, like, for what we use on my farm, we don't really do like a plow in the sense of what like a farm sim plow is. We mainly use a subsoiler, or like a deep ripper is what we call it. So it's got real deep, long things that get into like the real low part of the soil. So that's what we use to plow with. And then we have a cultivator, mulch finisher is what it's called. It's kind of like Rooster Mod's 714 that he put out. It's actually a John Deere 732 mulch finisher. So it's got the mulching wheels on the front, and then it's got tines on the back. And that's only 30 feet. Most of the equipment that we use on my farm is a max width of 30 feet. Yeah, long shanks, that's what we call it. Yeah, Sim and Cheesy, that script is sweet. I'll have to look that script up. It has a few settings that mine doesn't. Yeah, and the nice thing about Farmer Boys modding scripts is they are updated like frequently. If you go on their forums, their map making forums, and look for their scripts, they update them frequently. Let me show you. Oh, farmer. They've got tutorials on how to do borders and like the seamless border. They got tutorials on that, but this is what their page looks like. You do have to have an account with them to download their spline tools and their other scripts that they have. But it's, I mean, support these creators where they can be supported, you know, because I mean, I wouldn't be able to make maps as well as I did without the creations of these people. So, I mean, look at this one. Terrain height, paint terrain, and spline placement scripts. That was updated 3 hours ago. At least the forum was updated 3 hours ago. So if I click into this, This was uploaded September of 22 when it was first uploaded, but these keep getting updated, you know? So yeah, go into their forums, um, home, help and tutorials, modding tutorials and guides, and then mapping. And that's how you can access these ones, at least for Farmer Boys modding. So yeah, the Marbo plow is like 4 to 5 inches deep. The average chisel plow and disc plow is like 3 to 5 inches deep. Then inline one can go foot deep. Yeah, and so I think what I'm talking about, we have like a Brilliant deep ripper, and that has those long shanks. Does that go a foot into the ground? That's probably the issue. You got a script over a year ago. Who checks for updates? I do. I want the best, man. Okay. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I can just get rid of this spline at this point, just because we don't really need it anymore. We already painted it, and then what I'm gonna do is just fill in this area. So um, unfortunately, it's not like GIMP where you can just like bucket fill an area. You actually have to go in here and paint. Um, so I had to go in here, use my paintbrush tool to actually go in and paint the individual spots and get everything filled in. And then what you're also going to find too is, watch when I paint, see how laggy it is? That's because of my weight files. I'm using 8192 resolution weight files on this. And for a 4x, the standard size for a weight file is 4096. So I'm using bigger weight files, and so it lags the game a little bit. But you get higher texture resolution on your ground textures. Yeah, they have those big shanks that are like 2 to 3 inches wide. Oh man, I wonder if I can find a example picture of what I'm looking at. What we use. It says it's a 38-inch shank ripper blade. It's a Brilliant Zone Commander. That's what it is. So it looks like that. That's what our deep ripper is. So I guess those little shanks down here are about 6 inches wide, or 2 to 3 inches wide, I should say. And I think it's a 7 shank Brilliant one. So we use that on headlands, and we use that on um, driveway entrances and stuff, spots where there's a lot of field compaction. Because most of the time we will custom hire somebody to come out and do like vertical tillage, um, or some other type of tillage, because we just don't, one, we don't have the horsepower. We don't have the horsepower to do a lot of tillage right now, and we just don't have the implements to do tillage. We've thought about getting into custom tillage, but I just haven't done it yet. Yeah, they have those big shanks. They're like two. Got that one. Yeah, zone rippers go deep. Mess that one up. So once I get this painted, get all my little detail work in here, I like to always pull up my PDA and kind of reflect on what I just painted versus what's actually there to see if it lines up pretty well. Pretty decent. You know, it kind of follows, like I'm looking right here at this line right here between the grass and the gravel. That's pretty good. Cool. What's up, Rev? Can't stay long, but saw Sim's community post, so I thought I'd stop in and say hi. Much appreciated. You know, people are giving me their time right now to watch me make stuff in Farm Sim. That is nuts to me. So thank you, Rev, and thank you to everyone else that's still here in chat. I wonder how many we're at right now. 17. That's amazing. You know, there's so many people in here that I did not expect. I greatly appreciate everybody for coming in and stopping in and saying hi. Um, so then, when I go back in here and I show my foliage, you'll see that the gravel doesn't really show. So to get that fixed, we're gonna go from texture layer painting to foliage layer painting down here. And I'm gonna select meadow up here, and then I'm gonna keep my layer state empty, and then I'm gonna limit it to the texture that I want to limit it to. Because if I don't limit the texture and I go in here to my texture or my foliage tool, it's gonna remove the grass from everything. But if I limit the texture to gravel, it's only going to delete the foliage on gravel. That's pretty cool. First 20 seconds and already seen the method on comparing the map to the satellite, which is really cool. Yeah, it's awesome. I do it all the time. And another thing that I do all the time is like once I get a farmyard or a house placed or something like that, I'll take it and I'll put the map in game and look at it to see if I'm missing anything. Because oftentimes, because the way GE looks versus the way it looks in game can be so different. So you have to be constantly comparing what you have in GE versus what you have in game to make sure that you're like terrain. Like you always want to drive a vehicle over your terrain to see like, oh, this is way too bumpy or this is way too steep. Um, if you were here for my map tour, you guys saw Horsepower Hill. That's a spot where like your visuals conflict with your playability. Wait, did No say 40 subscribers? 35, I see. 40 subscribers? I just made this YouTube channel yesterday, dude. That's crazy. And 27 likes on the stream? You guys are nuts. Thank you so much. Okay, the other thing that I'm going to do now is, if you remember, I painted gravel grass down on my edges. So I'm going to limit to my texture of gravel grass, and then I'm going to select green small. And what that's going to do is kind of create the effect that like someone came through and mowed this, or it's kind of on the line between gravel and grass, and so short little weeds and stuff like that would grow in there. And so it kind of creates some cool dimension. So we'll just go around this border here and make sure that this small meadow grass gets painted on here. And then if I drop down into first person mode, you can see here that that creates a really nice level of dimension between the two grass types. So that's pretty cool. I'm already seeing now that again that I'm in first person mode. This is what I mean by like putting it in game and checking your terrain. If you don't know how to go into first person mode in Giants Editor, it's up here. It's this little eyeball. You just click on that, and then you can move around with WASD, just kind of like you would in game. And then you can see you're at the player height, so you can see what the terrain looks like. And so what I can tell by this right now is that this little hump right here, that's a building in real life. So our DEM capture method captured that building, and it captured the building over here. So I need to do some smoothing on the terrain here. A couple options that I can do with my terrain tool. If I go up to my sculpting menu on the left hand side here, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my middle mouse button to smooth, but I could also come in here and replace. And so I could like select a higher level of terrain and then flatten everything else out to it. Kind of like the level tool in game. But I think what I'm going to start with is smoothing. Take for some green medium in there and to be honest something. I think you're right, Cheesy. I think you're right. Yeah, because if I could come in here, like on the edge of there and put green middle in there, it would be great. Noah says, I'm going to leave you soon, going to eat. Will you enjoy your food? I appreciate you stopping by and I appreciate you chatting. Definitely be on the lookout for future streams. I'd love to have you in chat. You've got some interesting things to say. So, okay, let's get to smoothing this terrain. Now with the smooth tool, it basically takes high levels of terrain and low levels of terrain and then equalizes them. So if you have a really small paintbrush on here, it's not going to detect um, enough of those terrain differences to help smooth it out. It's only going to smooth it out a little bit. Whereas if you have a really big brush, you have bigger terrain differences, and then it's going to have more to smooth. So we're going to start with that. I'm just holding down my middle mouse button right now and doing that. And what this again is doing is equalizing those highs and lows. So we'll hold that for just a little bit longer. I'll stop there and kind of look at how that looks. Oh, much better. See how that's a little bit more gradual? I like turtles. Buzzin says, "You are a turtle." Straight face, look you in the camera. You are a turtle. Okay, simple as that, MRG. So that's what we do. We smooth the terrain, and then like sometimes you'll see like right here, the grass doesn't. You watch your mouth. Uh, the the foliage doesn't follow along with that. If you zoom out and then zoom back in, give that chance, the foliage a chance to refresh, it'll smooth out. But usually what that tells me is that a little bit more smoothing needs to be done. So I'll just do like a little simple click of the middle mouse button to do that. I want to do a little bit more smoothing throughout here. I'm going to bring my brush size up a little bit more so it's a little more aggressive. And we're going to keep doing that. Okay. We're smoothing, folks. I'm holding down that middle mouse button right now. One thing you'll probably find too is that when you come over here and turn off your foliage, as you smooth, like your trees will start to float because you're lowering that terrain. So you have to come back in here. The trees don't stick to the terrain. You're gonna have to move those down in there. Show my foliage again here. Okay. Maybe it's just my phone, but it seems you are just a little quiet. Let me turn up my mic a little bit. How's that? I should be a little bit louder now. So there's some spots where I need to do a little bit more smoothing. I'm just gonna do gentle smoothing. I'm just gonna do little mouse button clicks and call it good there. Okay. So now what we're gonna do again is look at my PDA. I keep clicking on my water plane. We're gonna pull that up and we're gonna see what kind of buildings we need. Or we could do fence. I think we should do fences because there is a new easy fence script out and it's amazing. So I'm gonna do fences. So let's pull up a different maps where I have some fences that I can export. You guys get to see another map that I'm working on. I haven't touched it in a while, but it's opening right now, so you'll see it in a bit. Real nice. Give it some Bob Ross. You just want to smooth the terrain just a little bit. Happy little trees. Happy little terrain. So as this opens, you get to see the amazing performance of Giants Editor. We wait, and we wait, and we wait. Probably doesn't help that I have two maps open either. Two instances of GED open, but how long have we been going? We've been going for a little while. I don't know how long the stream's been going for. We started at noon. We're going for an hour and a half. I think we're going to stop at about 2 hour mark. But Deadpool Bob Ross is to die for. I'll have to check that out. Is that like from the movie Deadpool? Here's the other map I'm working on. This one's another really cool one. It's got a nice river running through it. Got really beautiful terrain. But this is a farm I got. Don't look at that MRG. I didn't steal that. Live for 90 minutes. That's amazing. And we've had a really good viewer count. I've been so pleased with everybody. Thank you so much. So let's go into here. I've got, I should have a fences copy. Do I not? Let's go down to my 000 here to like my deco copy and see if I got any fences down here. I do. So let's hide this gigantic border objects and then come in here and steal some of these fences. So we got a post and a wire. That's a panel. That's not what I want. Man, I should maybe wait to do fences. Your PC catches on fire with two maps open in GE for sure. Even my brand new PC. Who is your favorite mapper? And just know that if it's me, if it's not me, we can't be friends anymore. It's gonna be real awkward, dog. It's gonna be real awkward. No, I'm kidding. Let's see here. Yeah, I got some wires here. So I want to export this wire, and then I want to export this post too. Right? So yeah, let's export this wire. I'm gonna export it with files. I'm gonna go to my mods folder, or just DSMRV, textures, and I'll put it in here. Wire. I do not want to get the parent directory structure, but I do want to keep relative paths. And then I want to get the post here. This is the wood post. But for real, it's Oxy, Bullet Bill, and Ola for me. I haven't played on any Ola's maps, but Ola Halidor, I think is how you say his name, for everyone in chat. I think he created, what's that map that's like, it's basically a little sandbox? I think he made that map. That is just amazing. And then Oxygen David, obviously, Court Farms is just next level. Silobuki, yeah, I think that's how you say his name. He's Bosnian, so I don't know that name, but let's export. No, I don't want to export the files. This is going to be the metal post. No, the metal cross. And then I want to get the fence post for the wire fence. Let's hide this post real quick. Is that also a wood post? That is a wood post. I want to get that steel T-post too. So export selection of the files, other wood post, and then I want to get this T-post. Where you at? Let me select you. Steel post. There we go. T-post. Okay. Yeah, Ola is amazing, and the stuff that he does in Houdini. For those who don't know, Houdini's like another. I don't even know anything about it. It's another software that you can use to build maps in, and then like export stuff into GE. I mean, dude's on another level. I mean, there are modders like myself who take what exists and curates it. There are other modders that push the boundaries. And MRG, the guys that you mentioned, Oxygen David, Bullet Bill, Ola, those are the map makers and modders that push the boundaries. And that's something to be commended. I mean, there's a real difference between what they do and what I do. So, okay, next thing we have to do before we can bring in these fence posts is we gotta get the texture paths right. So you can see I brought in a bunch of textures here. I'm just gonna move these into my main textures folder. And then I'm gonna sort by type here. I'm gonna go down to my i3ds and then change the texture file path. That's all got shared. So if you see in here, it's got the $ data. That means it's base game textures. So I don't need to do anything with that. I can delete this. And then let's go into this other wood post, edit with notepad. Again, that's base game textures. That's great. Better for my map optimization. Check our T-post. That just uses materials, no files. Interesting. So I'm guessing your new job was actually a job at Giants Learning Mapping. What a pro you are. I don't know if I'd ever work for Giants. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Here we go. So you can see here I've got textures and barbed fence. I don't need the textures anymore. So what I'm going to do is select that, hit Control F, go to replace, and just replace. And I'm going to Control S to save, close out of that, we're good to go. And then finally, this other wood post should have textures. It does. So I can just hit Control F again, replace, replace, replace. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. If you go hunting, there are so many textures that are base game. I know, and like even if you just like look in your farm sim data folder for like go to maps US, and like I'll just go into the textures folder and I'll type in asphalt roads diffuse. Open that up. Boom, there's a baked texture that you can already use. You don't need to mess around with PBR materials or anything like that. You have a baked texture that's already done. It's amazing. So that's what I edited this texture. I'm pulling an MRG. Edited this texture to have yellow hashed lines. Because you can see here it only has white hash lines. So I went through and I painted these lines as yellow so that they would show up yellow, because that's what American roads are like. I don't know why they didn't have that. They only have the white or the yellow stripe. So let's see. Once you know about map making and know how much work is involved, it gives you much more appreciation, even more appreciation for Oxygen, David. Abso-freaking-lutely. Um, if we could take a quick aside here. Let's close out of Rossi. Let's save Bradgate. Oh, I just doxed myself. You didn't hear that. Probably had a little bit of stream lag there because I was saving in GE. That usually taxes my computer pretty heavily. But let's take a brief aside, go to my mods folder, and open up Court Farms, because we were looking at this map the other day, and some of the detail that he put into this map is next level. Where? Obviously the castle is insane, but like I'm talking like the border, like the border farms. It's not the border. Here's the border. Like even just the border tree textures are beautiful. I might steal those. And like the border buildings. The border buildings are amazing. Yeah, Court Farms is fire. I almost want to get this in game because like if you get this map in game, I don't know if I can find it anywhere. Let's see if we can find like border or something. Because he's even got like in his border, he's got splines running for like combines harvesting that you can see, and they've got like smoke effects and everything. Something's not working. Is my stream still up? Are you guys there? Let's just do a little quick check here. Make sure my stream's still going, because I think GE might have screwed it over. Yes. Hi. Okay, cool. We're still good. All right. When I saved in GE, I think it made my stream freak out. But yeah, one of the things that like I thought was amazing. I want to find the spot where it's at, because like he had like a combine running in the field, and it was only the LOD for the combine, and it had smoke effects running out of it. It was running on a spline. I was like, dude, just nuts. And like, look at these border trees. Amazing. I bet these are seasonal too. Knowing him, these are seasonal. That's just crazy. So, and then like even like the way he makes maps is different, because obviously you can see he doesn't have fields in, but they come in with the field dimensions and everything. He's got one field here, kind of like Elm Creek is set up that way. But like just the amount of time it takes to put that's a single barrel right there. he has to go through and place that individual barrel. He has to go through and place this individual manure pile, this individual rubble pile. I mean, just to detail it like to the level that he is just nuts. Cheesy. Oh look, GE's having issues. Shocking, right? Right? Yeah, big surprise. How do you make an XML? That's a bit of a loaded question. Big ballin' a green Holland. Love that name, by the way. A bit of a loaded question. Depends on what you're making the XML for. So if you want to make an XML for a vehicle, it's going to be different than an XML for a map. What I would do to make an XML is, let's see here. Um, let's go to Farming Simulator's data folder, and let's go to data vehicles. Um, and say, for instance, I wanted to make a tractor. I would go into John Deere, find one of their tractors, like let's go to the 7810, and this has an XML in it. And this is already formatted in the way that you would need to format it. You just have to change the file paths and stuff like that. That's already made for you. You don't have to make an XML from scratch. If you make a XML for a map item, let's go into like DSMRV here, go to my XML file. Um, that's going to be totally different. So like an animated objects XML, this has different information in it and stuff like that. Oh, you're talking for a placeable. Talking about a placeable. So let's focus on placeables for a quick second. Um, so again, I'm just going to go into the Farming Simulator data folder, data, and then for a placeable, I'll go maps, and then you'll choose. I'll just say maps US. No, never mind. You want to go back to maps. And you want to hit placeables, and then find like a lizard placeable, for instance. So this has like, say you want to make I don't know, a placeable. Let's say a pig barn small. You want to make your own custom pig barn. Just use this pig barn small placeable and change things in it to make it your custom one. There's some really good videos from Shy Wizard and from Farmer Bob on YouTube on how to make custom placeable XMLs and stuff like that. I would suggest watching them. I could do some live streams just like XML work, but that's really, really boring stuff. So, okay. Oh, where was I? How long have we been streaming? Almost 2 hours here. So I'm going to call it about 15 minutes here. We'll call it the end of the stream. But, um, yeah, where was I at here? Oh, we were still on Court Farms. Yeah, this is just really an amazing, incredible map. Done the proper way. Um, and like if I would just go into the texture folder and show you some of the custom textures that he did. Maps, textures. Let's just look at basic textures. I mean, he does all the V masks. Like his barbed wire is amazing. One of my favorites ones of these is his wood texture here. His wooden fence. Let me open this in GIMP real quick. This is the treated lumber texture. Already pre-baked and everything. This is amazing. Like, how realistic is that? One of the best wood textures. I use it often for like my signs and stuff like that. So, really, really good wood texture. Okay, that's enough of working in that. Let's get back to my map. Okay. Yeah, now's your chance. If you haven't yet already, and if you're thinking about it, if you're willing to do so, maybe consider liking this stream. And if you want to see future live streams from your boy RowCropSpecial, um, feel free to hit that like button and the subscribe button. It helps me out, gives me some motivation, and helps with like getting my stream out to more people. The engagement helps, so definitely consider that if you're willing to do so. Next thing we're going to do here on this is we're going to import some fence objects. and then we're gonna do the new fence script. I really want to show off this new fence script, mainly if MRG is still in here, because if you're not using this new fence script, you're doing it wrong. It is loading in the items right now. I loaded a bunch at the one time, so that's why it took forever. Another cool thing that you can do in GE is select an item and then hit F on your keyboard, and that will focus on that item, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a fence on this farm that has the T-post and then a barbed wire on it. So the first thing I want to do is create a spline of where I want my fence to go. If you're here earlier in the stream, I already talked about some spline tricks and stuff like that, but you can see here that this fence goes from this little shed right here, follows the curvature of the field, and then comes down and kind of terminates at the water. So that's where I'm going to make my spline at. I'm going to start up here, kind of right where this building would be, and I'm going to hit R to reverse my spline and W to get my control points back. And I'm just going to start running the spline. So I'm going to hit Control B, click, and then I'm going to hit Insert, Insert, Insert. Repeat that process until you get your spline run all the way around. I know, splines, splines, splines. Boring stuff. And I think I'm just gonna let this like stop like right there, because that's a riverbank right there, and you can see that darker color right there. That's a shadow, and that means that the terrain drops off right there. So like the cows wouldn't be able to like jump off like a really steep edge right there. So I think that's a good spot to stop. Nice little short fence to get this last little demonstration in. Next thing I'm going to do is you can see that this spline does not follow the terrain at all. And so if I'd run that fence script right now, that fence would be floating in the air. What I want to do is I want to get this spline to follow the terrain. And so I'm going to use another script for that. Surprise, surprise. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Spline CSV Creator panel. This comes from Farmer Boys Modding. CSV stands for comma separated value. And what that's going to do is, based on this number, it's going to place one of those little red dots, one of those control points, every so often. So if I really want my terrain to be followed, I'm going to put that to like 5. And I'm going to hit Create CSV. And then you guys can't see it. If I open up my console a little bit more, towards the bottom of my console, it says that there's a new spline that's created, and that gets created in your map file. So if I go to this map file and hit CSV data, there's that spline CSV in there. I'm gonna close out of this, go back to my spline CSV. Another thing I can do instead of hitting file import is I can just drag and drop. And boom, it follows the terrain perfectly. That is amazing, right? I'm even gonna, you can see how like the terrain drops off right there. That's that riverbank I was talking about. I'm gonna go back here. I'm just gonna delete right to there, I think. Okay. I'm gonna delete my original spline. I'm just gonna rename this one to spline so I don't lose it. And then now it's time to run the fence script, okay? This new fence script, in my opinion, is just amazing. It's really powerful and really fast. So once I hit fence power placement, it'll create a transform group here that I need to use. So this fence power objects, it's got that transform group already made. And then it's got spots where I can drop my wire, and it's got spots where I can drop my T-post. So I'm going to drag and drop this T-post into my post object, and I'm going to take my barbed wire and drop that into my wire fence node. One thing I want to look at for my steel post is I've got 4 separate transform groups in here that are all zeroed out. So that's going to tell me my number of wire and board nodes. That's 4. Okay. And just from doing this, I know that my wire is 4 long. And so I'm also going to want to have my post distance at 4. Okay. So then I'm going to drag this spline down into the fence placement, select fence placement, and hit create fence power line. Boom. That is the new easy fence. It is that fast. It is so crazy fast and simple to do. That's what I did to run my power lines. That's what I did to do all my fences. And I mean, that's a perfect fence. If I don't like this fence, I can go to this remove fence and select and delete that fence just like that. Because the one thing I want to do is look at these random options here. So like select random wire board placement. I'll just select that. That should have created some random wires. It didn't anyways. What we're going to do then is you can see that some of my wires are still in the ground. My fourth wire is still in the ground. So I'll go to placed objects here and do the translate Y by like 0.5. And now I've got all 4 wires showing. Cool. That is the first fence done on this farm. Took me what? 5 minutes? Yeah, nothing. That is easy fence for you. And then all I'm going to do is just hide this spline. Hit Control H to hide. And then kind of just drag and drop assets as needed. So like when I want to make another fence, I'll just take this wire out of this transform group and drag it into my other transform group, if that makes sense. And I'm going to rename this pasture fence 01 so that I don't lose it. I mean, that is just a perfect fence. Follows the terrain, beautiful. Another thing I can do with this is I'm going to pull this spline out real quick. I'm going to unhide it. And then I'm going to paint foliage along this spline. So I'm going to use another script. Surprise, surprise. Paint foliage by spline panel. Another Farmer Boys modding script. I'm going to leave my foliage stuff at 0. I'm going to select new bush. And I'm going to do, let's do 3. And just hit paint. Oh, I got to select the spline. Whoops. And then I got to show foliage. And now there's random bushes along the length of that spline. I could do the same with grass if I wanted my grass to be shorter along that spline. But now I've got random, beautiful random bushes floating along there, and they're all different sizes. That's pretty cool. And I could choose whatever spline or whatever foliage type I wanted to as well, because with that foliage paint by spline, it gives you this text document that tells you the foliage states to use. So if I wanted like to paint the like I did new bush, and I wanted to choose which bush I wanted to paint, I would just find this is number 2, so I would set my foliage state to number 2. So welcome back, Rev. Thanks for joining back in. We are just about done, actually. I wanted to show a couple more scripts off in terms of the new easy fence script. So I got this fence put in, and it follows the terrain perfectly, and it looks really beautiful. And then I showed off the foliage by spline tool to make some random bushes show up in that pasture fence. So those are 2 really good tools, both from Farmer Boys Modding. Half of my scripts are from Farmer Boys Modding, at least half. So go check those people out. Yeah, I think we're gonna end it here, folks. Not many of you left at this juncture, which is fine. People got stuff to do, but we had a 2-hour stream, my first stream on YouTube, and it was great. I got a lot of viewers, got a lot of likes, got a lot of subscribers. This has been awesome. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in and giving me their attention today. I know it's a lot to ask for, and the fact that you sat down at your computer and said, "I'm going to watch RowCropSpecial today," that says something. That's really amazing. So thank you. My next stream, I don't know, I could do one tomorrow. I have a 3-day weekend this weekend. Let's do another stream like tomorrow or Monday, I think. Cool. Anyways, thanks everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another RowCropSpecial, and we will, yeah, like 32 viewers max MRG. That was crazy. So without dragging out this exit any further, I'm just gonna end now. Thanks everybody. Thank you. This has been overwhelmingly amazing. So we'll see you in the next stream.